you for an incredible year. I know next week we do have some classes that are actually lined up. So I would pay attention there to these classes. Next week will be our final classes. The 2026 stock options playbook will drop on Sunday, right? So just to go through a couple of things with you guys here, the 2026 stock options playbook is going to drop on Sunday. All right. So just to give you guys a couple of key things schedule wise and tab, right? So you just come over here to the welcome and then you have a schedule. So this is the schedule for next week. So you can already go ahead and make what you need to make. You know, obviously you ain't gonna make every class, but you know what's going on and what's happening. Right. We got 2 live sessions at 12 to 2, Monday and Tuesday next week. We got a 6 p.m. fundamental analysis training. So for all my people that's confused as far as DNA, right? For particularly my new people, because you probably wouldn't have heard it. But if you've been in the community for more than a year and you're asking me about DNA, that means you're not paying attention. And there was someone that asked me specifically last night about DNA, and they were in the community more than a year. That's why I had the attitude that I had, because they have been wasting time. You're probably putting me on as background noise and you're not being serious, because if you've been in this community for a year and you got questions about DNA, that means you've been showing up, but you must not have been listening. You know what I mean? And so I think that's one thing we got to in 2026. I will be holding people accountable for things like that. Now, someone came in 3 weeks and says, "Hey, L, I don't understand DNA and fundamentals." I got you. But to be in the community a year plus and you don't know, I got to call you out on that. That's just what it is. You're not paying attention to what's going on. So be at all these classes if you can, next week live in on Zoom, right? But if you can't make it, we understand. We'll show you exactly where, particularly each class, right? So the weekly watch list session always goes right here. Weekly watch list will always come right here. So the 1228 one, drop it right here. Any just regular class that we have will always come here. Now, we had in a series of the last week some special preview classes. All of those classes were actually dropped here for you. So you were actually able to go ahead and see that. Now, the watch list, of course, which was 1221, where you come right here. It's right there for you. Now, that fundamentals class will come and get dropped right here, and we'll put right underneath it fundamentals training. So those are your tabs to pay attention to. It's really not that hard to come in here and grab a link and boom, press play and let's get busy. So you do have your live trading sessions, which will come underneath this tab. You have a live trading right there, right? So those live trading sessions, you'll be able to see that. So yeah, just want to make sure everybody's on one accord, one page. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the questions that we're asking are answered here directly on Zoom. So it is Christmas Eve. We do want to take time to say thank you for another day, another opportunity. It's always a blessing to be alive again and be able to deliver and add value. So I do want to say, just thank you and appreciate you guys. So look forward to next week. Once again, the stock options playbook, that is going to be a very, very detailed class at that 6 p.m. But I should have you out within an hour and a half. So if you can block out an hour and a half, and let's keep it, please, no questions about anything else on that zone. Let's just let me cook. We'll have time for questions once we're finished, but just let me cook. Please do not try to add to anything. But what about this? What about that? That's not the Zoom to do that. The Zoom is designed for me to go over the playbook, right, that is being given. So just want to stress that up front. Let's not deviate the conversation to other things that we know, hey, there'll be a place and a time to talk about those things. But that Zoom at 6 p.m. on Sunday is designed for the stock options playbook. And just period, it'd be more than stock options as well, too. But options and equities playbook, right, for 2026. So that is my stock options and equities playbook for 2026 will be released this Sunday at 6 p.m. So this is why, it's important that you actually are joining that class and being in the building. That class will be completely locked down. That playbook will be completely locked down. There will not be no YouTube, will not be no IG Live. It will be completely us. All right. So just want to say that up front for everyone that's listening here. So you guys know our watch list as well on Sunday will Be no one else. Will be just a 1 hour watch list for the last weekly watch list of the year to get you guys ready to close this thing out strong. So just want to say that. And like I said, I appreciate everybody. And let's get back to business. So what's we've discussed and said, okay, well, if there was a last minute Christmas gift, what is a last minute Christmas gift? And so, we're going to see last minute shopping today, right? Last minute shopping. All right. And if you wanted to go last minute shopping in the marketplace, where could you go? Now, I do want to preface this up front. All right. There is not, as many of us know, there's not a ton of discounts here, that's in really within the market. There's really not a ton of discounts. But when we do pay attention here, there's one asset that we know that can pay us, right? So what you can actually see is that's Bitcoin, of course, right? There's one asset particularly, and one of the things where a lot of times people actually get in trouble is they buy so high. So let's talk about it. This is an asset, Bitcoin, BTC, that has a small amount, right? Because when you go to coinmarketcap.com, all right, there we go. Let's let CoinMarketCap break it down for us. Place to come to for all your crypto updates, valuations, circulating supplies, etc. Right? So when you come here to BTC, BTC has 19.96 million Bitcoin in circulating supply, right? So the market cap is literally here right now at 1.7, right, billion in market cap. 87, right, $1,000. Now, for many of us, Bitcoin right now, people look at it and say, man, Bitcoin's high. Now, when you look here on BTC, it's only going to get higher. That's the thing I want to really make note of, right? Like BTC is not going to stop going up. It's only going to get higher. So Bitcoin, when we peaked out at 125K, there was many of people to say, hey, Lawrence, Bitcoin's at 125K. I can't wait for a pullback. When we get a pullback, Ellie? When we get a pullback? Well, damn it, you got the pullback you was looking for. Not all the way, maybe yet, but it's getting there. So to me, if someone asked me, is this a bad price to pay for Bitcoin? The answer would be no. Is this the perfect price to pay for Bitcoin? The answer would be subjective based upon your risk tolerance. If you have a high risk tolerance, I think this is the perfect spot to buy BTC. Because if you're buying Bitcoin with the presumption of, hey, one day BTC is going to go to 150, 200K, 250K, then yes, you put your bread in Bitcoin right now. Now, if you have a lower risk tolerance, you may say, hey, I want to wait until Bitcoin pulls back more to 74, 68K. Those are our windows. Now, what I do know, and from historical context perspective, now that we've had this Bitcoin, become traded, especially a lot more in the past 10 years, right? We have a decade worth of history now, consistently with Bitcoin being talked about heavy and people understanding it more. Even in 2016, there was people that understood it early, right? Now, there were some people that said, I'm turned off by it, so I don't really know. That's just the nature of the beast. But we see every third year after halving, right? Every single third year after halving when it comes to BTC. And I'm talking that talk this morning, so I want you guys to take these notes down. Every third year, BTC, when it starts to pull back, it usually gives you the best opportunity before the next halving. Now, it doesn't usually give you that same low price, right? Because you didn't get 3,500 last time, but you did get 15, 16,000 at its low, and it didn't stay there long. So price ended up rallying here to the upside very quick. So what I just need you guys to understand is to stop playing with BTC. Because, hey, my thoughts is we never see below 50K ever again. Bitcoin never breaks below 50,000 ever again. That's been my thoughts. I've been loud about it. And I'm actually going to double down and make a video on that today because I just think it's important, right? So people understand this is just my thoughts. My line in the sand is at 50K. And if it goes underneath 50K, I want to hear no excuses. You're going to sell everything you got. And I'm going to tell you, majority of people going to sell their homes. I'm just going to tell you, if Bitcoin was to break below $50,000, a lot of people would sell their homes and downsize and buy Bitcoin. Just telling you now, because at 50,000, you'd be buying an asset that we know in the long run will just let the next decade run, and BTC will go to 250,000. That's just the reality. Can we pinpoint it to the, nah, it's just not how cycles work. What we can say, though, is that we've seen based upon previous cycles, and this is what happens when you run back your tape and you study film, right? This is what this looks like. You notice the same thing happens. The structural break that took place here in April of 2022, we ended up coming down to 15K. To me, I'm looking at, hey, 50K is my floor. If I'm wrong on that, hold me to the fire. Cool. But you best, even if it went to 38,000, you best be putting your bread up. This is the time. So to me, like worst case scenario, Bitcoin falls like another 30K. So if someone asked, said, hey, would this be a good gift to get for somebody? The answer to me is yes, because BTC is better than cash. Why would I give somebody cash when I can give them Bitcoin? You'd be better off giving them money that actually can appreciate versus money that's being depreciated. If I'm talking that talk, put these fires in the chat. Because if I'm not mistaken, the Federal Reserve is I won't say solely, but mainly responsible for the reason why our purchasing power continues to be depleted. The Federal Reserve and Company. Because when Jerome Powell, this is what we're gonna do this morning. We ain't gonna do too much talking. Let's talk that money. We're not gonna do too much talking, but we gonna talk this money. Jerome Powell. Let me go quote this brother. Bazooka. Let's pull it up the tape. Let's pull up the tape. Right here. Let's pull up the tape. Yeah. There we go. Right there. After Federal Reserve uses bazookas, right? This is what he said. You always got to pull up the timestamps, right? So a global recession, this was 2020. So we talk about they basically used the bazooka yesterday. I think the market sold off because investors adopted the narrative that this is the best you can do and it's not good enough. Now that you're at and now that you are out of ammunition, we're screwed, right? So what did they do? The Fed always comes and plays rescue, quote unquote. But are they really rescuing us? And this is why I wanted to pull this up. The bazooka, the tools. We got a bazooka worth of tools. But I just want to stress this to you guys. Does that help us in the long run or hurt us? Because 5 years later, it looks like it's hurting a lot more than it helped because they never let things actually just cycle out. They always just come in and swoop and save things. This is why I was so ticked off, right? Because for 6 weeks, we had people that was not being paid and they went and took the money and gave it right back to the same corporations. So guess what you should be looking at? TGT. Because listen, the boycott boys, that's over. Target will probably be going to 105 and 110, $110 after this holiday season, the way I seen Black people particularly spending money. But you're supposed to be boycotting because of some DEI. Made no sense because there was more than just that company that cut their DEI. But we went hell bent to beat up on already a company that was beat down. They tried it with Dollar General, but Dollar General was in demand. You see, it didn't work. The reason why it didn't work with Dollar General is because Dollar General was already down. And I'm just going to call a spade a spade. The boycott was not the reason that Target was dropping. Target, long before any boycotts, was in trouble. But real stock market investors, real stock market traders would know that. Oh, this is what we did to Target. No, you might have put a bullet on them and it might have been bleeding, but they already had 5. So you just put a bullet in their kneecaps so they couldn't get up and walk. That's really what happened with the boycott. But let's not be confused and think that Target started struggling because the pastors banded together and said boycott Target. That's not why Target was struggling. Target was struggling long before that. So why does all this tie in together? Because there's going to be people that say, hey, we're going to go out and spend our money that we don't even have. Just think about that. Instead of going and buying money, what I talked about with Target in demand, hit that 85, never broke. We cracked that 105, 110. This thing will be prices right there in demand. So I'm interested. But notice boycott, all the boycott talking about, Target was already down. Look at where Target's been down. So you can't take credit for what was already happening. You could say you blowed them a little bit, but it's just what it came down. You pushed them here to the downside. So you pile drive them, maybe, but that didn't happen even here. Y'all wasn't boycotting in April. Y'all started this boycotting, this fast, the Target fast, as it was called, here in January and February. But Target was already coming off the backlog of a weak holiday quarter. So even here, the majority of what happened was 115 and less. So we can say from 115 all the way to about 85. But you know what? I was the person that came to the fold and tell people to short. Why are you telling people to boycott something, not spend money? But then you didn't teach them to short. You get what I'm saying? It's a lack of education we have. We get caught up in these fads and these trends, but soon we always forget quick. Because once again, I got to point this out. 6 weeks, many of our people were being withheld checks and withheld food stamps. Many of our people. And they went and took that same money and gave it right back to Apple, right back to EA, right back Take Two, right back to Affirm, right back Upstart, right back Klarna. They playing the wrong game. The buy now, pay later. Guess what buy now, pay later really means? You buy this thing now and you are going to pay later. You're going to pay that balance. But even if you don't, you sacrificing your future because you putting something on for $700 on buy now, pay later when you should be putting the $700 in Bitcoin. But he's the Grinch. He's the Grinch. You're the Grinch, Lawrence, that stole Christmas. Have the Christmas spirit. Merry Christmas and be jolly. Why the hell I'm gonna be jolly? We grateful for another day, but let's not get confused. Let's not get confused. We got major problems. So when you wipe your eyes on December 26th, did your problems go away? I'm talking that talk this morning. When you wipe your eyes and you get yourself up on December 26th, did the problems go away that you had? No. If you go into the new year and on J1, you wipe your eyes and wake up, did the problems that you had before, did they go away? No, they ain't go away. They still persist and it's still there. So yes, we need to enjoy the moments. We're not saying don't go out, but let's do it right. You got to do both. At this point in time, you should do more because we have to do more. But in my opinion, do both. Every day is a gift, so you should be treating the people you care about and love in your life always with respect, always doing nice things. Flowers here for the ladies that you love, your mother, your wife, your girlfriend, etc. And then vice versa. The ladies take care of us. So every single day has to be a gift because no day is truly promised. Doing little things all year. And yes, we all want nice things, but then at the end of the day, you can't take none of it with you. That ain't what you're going to go. Whatever you believe in and subscribe to, however you believe is the way, is what you believe is the way. But when you get there, you don't go in with any bags. You don't go in with any of that stuff. You know what you go in with? A scroll and everything that's in your spirit of what you've done in your life. That's what you go in with. So, and that's going to even decide whether you get in or not. So depending on what you believe in. But you don't take none of these worldly possessions at all. All that stuff stays right here. So what I want to stress to people is here right now is BTC is a good buy. And we're going to talk about some stocks ahead of obviously Christmas, which we got until 1 p.m. until this market closes. As we know, crypto never shuts down. Crypto never shuts down. Never shuts down. So what I'm going to say is be prepared. I can't wait until these numbers come out because they're going to be talking about holiday season was good. They're going to be guiding higher. Guiding higher. So just something for me to make note of. And just my thoughts. All right. BTC, you got those levels and those zones. Pay attention to TGT. They could be on a recovery. Let's do a fundamental dive on TGT because I like to get a couple updates on them. Just a couple. Let's do a fundamental dive because they had their move to the downside. We got them almost to go to about 81. Now Target is in demand. So contrary to what people believe, Target is in demand, right? Because this is stock prices here at an 11 P to E, $8.25. So from a business perspective, they have some more trimming of the fat to do. Now, let me explain where they get in trouble though. They have 4 billion in cash, but 20 billion in debt. A lot of the debt racked up because of some of the obviously the things that we talked about. The earnings growth is where the boycott did play a role in hitting them, but that was already factored in. Target's earnings were already on the decline. Now it did assist and help, but this is still a company that took home $8 billion after earnings, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. So this is still a company that is leaving with some profits. Don't get it twisted, right? So if you're looking for a price long term that made sense, for TGT, I long always said that around $60 was the level that you would blindly buy it. Now, would it be the popular decision? No, but every decision don't have to be popular. Because once again, I'm not exonerating Target, but I'm just going to be real. Who stopped purchasing on Amazon? Who stopped purchasing? Who stopped purchasing with these other companies? Dollar General. And they shrugged it off. You see where they're at. So we got to be mindful of sometimes the miseducation that we are putting in our community. But it's cool to feel like you in the club and you doing something. And that's what people, hey, we in the boycott club. I feel like I'm doing something. And you people go over there. You know how our people talk? Man, I hope I'm gonna go over here to Target real quick and spend this money. I hope the pastor don't find out about it. You know, it's people that's like that, right? That's sitting there talking. Um, well, sister, you know, I'm gonna go over there real quick and I'm gonna shop real quick over there. I'm gonna get up out of there. Hopefully, pastor don't see me. Whole time you walking around, but in your congregation, you looking, you in there, and then you seeing other people that's in your congregation. You say, what the hell's going on? It's the truth. We talk a good game, we can't back it up. I seen people in Target. I went and spectated. I said, I want to see how many people is in here. I went to the blackest Target in Atlanta, and it was all black people. I went to another Target where there's usually other ethnicities. It was mainly black people. So I'm gonna just leave that alone for now. And I'm gonna just let it rest. I went to the Target that's right around the corner from just what, the person that was highlighting this, we're boycotting Target. I went around the corner from his church, and all I'm gonna say is it was black people in Target. So I'm gonna leave that one alone for now. It's good while it lasted, but TGT, they folded as they always do. This is what it is. It's talk a good game. We gonna boycott, okay? But what's your long-term solution? Because your ass gonna come back here. Just what it is, and that's what these companies count on. Just like for 6 weeks, didn't get the checks. But guess what? They phoned DT and they phoned the person who run DT. Don't get confused. Don't think DT running anything. It's a maestro behind that we don't know their name. And that ain't conspiracy. That's a fact. And so when you take a look at it, they phoned them. Hey, we got to run this thing because it's holiday time coming up. You don't think the airline said, yo, these tickets looking a little soft, homie. You need to make sure them checks drop. These sales, Black Friday coming, we need to get this. We got to get these deals off. You was already stifling us at the ports all year where we're having to pay extra taxes via a tariff to get these things here. But now, guess what? Now you're saying, you ain't giving the people checks? Hell no. Let's run this thing. Open that thing up. You better open that government up, homie. And that government opened up. And the people did exactly what they wanted them to do. The same thing they did during COVID, because they got people thinking that PPP was paycheck protection. Really, PPP was give me your money. Because yes, we want you to go home, but we still need you to pay. So yeah, while you was thinking the extra $600 on your unemployment check was free, it's not free because we are going to divide the wealth gap even further. That's what's happened. Past 5 years, the wealth gap got larger because Elon Musk is running around here with 600 billion in net worth value. And ask this question. Look at all the stock prices and how much they've become inflated within the past 5 years. The options market, where I used to could have traded Meta platforms for an in the money call, a few strikes within the money for $1,000 to $2,000. Now that same in the money call is 4 to 5 grand. These are just the facts. And if ain't nobody gonna say it, I will. Because I don't care about being liked. I don't care about everyone agreeing with me. That's never been within my spirit. But I will say what's factual. And the things I'm talking about today is factual because I can pull things up and it won't need to be a debate about it. So we have to focus on getting back to business. This is one way in the stock market and in the crypto space, two different ways, but it's not the only ways. And it's not always just about money. It is about systems. So what can we do? Some people are going to say, well, we're investing in these companies and they're taking our money and churning profits. Correct. So that means that this isn't the only way. We have to get back to what we've always done well, which is create our own companies, employ our own people, and be able to build systems and pay people at a high level. The reason why is we have to be able, as Black and brown people, to employ each other at high levels. That one starts with trust. That's the first thing that has to be fixed is trust. And that has to be rebuilt over time because within our communities, we do have a lack of trust. And some of it has been through conditioning, social conditioning, just reality. Well, if my brother eating and I ain't eating, then guess what? I'm going to be mad. If my sister eating, but I ain't eating, I'm going to be mad. And that's been the conditioning because we think that so many times it's limited. When really, no, it's not. It's of abundance. We got billions of people on this earth. Billions of people. It's enough for all of us to eat, but it has to be done in the right manner and in the right way. And the people that's on this Zoom right now, you guys get it because these are the things that you guys do every single day in your life. The people that's listening to me, listen very carefully to what I'm highlighting. I'm not just talking money and stocks. I'm also talking about ways of thinking that we should, and that's how we approach and all get better. We're all going to get better over a period of time when we start to get into this space. You never look at the world the same. It's not just about the money. Oh man, what's a quick trade, this and that. But that's where people make mistakes. It's about the education to know as well what's happening around you, what's happening in your neighborhoods, what's happening in your local, right, cities, what's happening in your state, what's happening in your country, what's happening in other countries. That's the purpose, so you can make proper decisions, not just about financials, but also about your day-to-day activities, your career paths and your career choices. Because if you see that AI is taking over, it's just pretty simple. We should be learning how to control AI because that's going to be the top paying jobs, AI controllers, right? The people who can maestro and know how to handle AI. So our little, they're going to need to know how to handle AI. Because when you go to different stores and you go to different places, what happens when Chick-fil-A lays off 50% of their staff? It's happening. What happens when Amazon sends a couple 100,000 people again home? What happens when UPS trims more? And by the way, UPS is on a 2026 playbook. We got a price target of 140. What happens when UPS says, hey, we're going to start to trim more of this fat and we're going to cut more jobs? And we've been using the automation and the AI to learn because AI don't ask for smoke breaks, it don't ask for vacations, and it don't talk back to you. So what happens as they already know these things to what I listed, and they've been using AI and they've been using people to train the AI. But then they come and say, okay, we got enough programming. We'll give you a pink slip, you get up out of here. But hold on, there's 10 of y'all, 2 of you guys stay. And we'll give you guys a 20 to 30% increase in your salary. Because we just sent 8 of you home, so we good. And you're going to do this. Just what's going to happen. It's the division. It's the divide. You see, a long time, people kept believing that the next war would be another world war. The next war will be a civil war. And it will be a civil war between the people and the people in charge. That's what it will be. Because trust me, you don't want to withhold money from people who don't have and then view it as, hey, I have nothing to lose. So the next war will be a people versus the people in charge. Governments across, I'm telling you now, because if they keep playing like this, trust me, people ain't going for it. So it will be the people banding together, and it will be the people going to take out the people that's in charge. That's just what it's going to be. You can see it here plain as day what it's setting up to be. And it will be that will be the next one. Now, is it going to be all the way physical? I think some to some degree, but I also think that it will be a lot to do with financials. A lot will have to deal with financials and technology based. It's just will be a combination of all three. A combination of all three. So those are my thoughts. This is why your last minute Christmas shopping. Listen, you got the blueprint here. We just laid it out. So let's talk. Let's talk that money. Money, 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 money. Money, money, money. Let's talk about Coinbase Global. Coinbase Global, ladies and gentlemen. So, a requisite platform. You want to get Coinbase and Kano, which is part of our 2026 playbook. You want to pick up Coinbase and Kano at 140, maybe as low as 120. So I do think that once again, it is super, super, super duper important for you guys to go ahead and grab this name. One thing that I am going to say, execution is a must. I'm going to say this now. Execution is a must. Do not idly sit back and be waiting around. This is no time to ever have me on. If you're going to come on Zoom, make sure you're attentive. If you're not going to come on Zoom and be attentive, make sure you just catch the recording later. Because I never want you guys to be saying, hey, I was here, but I missed this, I missed that. I want you to be at your best capacity. So if you got to miss it, it's fine. That's what the recording is for. Recordings are for people that are going to miss classes. So if you ever come in and you miss a class, we just went over that earlier. You come in and you watch the classes, right? You come in and watch the classes. So Coinbase and Kano, those are my thoughts on that going into 2026, giving you guys a little preview of, so that's where you should be looking to shop, right? So you can also provide some education and saying, hey, this is where I want you to buy, and let me teach you. I challenge people to have a 30-minute conversation with your family tomorrow and say, hey, everyone put your phones down. Hey, listen up. LE challenged me to have a 15 to 30-minute conversation because listen, tomorrow's NBA and you got NFL. You're going to sit around your family's house. You guys going to talk about sports. You guys some people's families is going to talk about the next individual. Girl, you see what she got on? Oh, man, that brother, he still ain't did this, blah, blah, blah. All that gossiping, we ain't got time for it. But instead, because a lot of times we go to our family's houses and people waste time talking about other people and they stuff ain't even all the way right. So what I want you to do, because I don't believe anybody that's here falls underneath that bracket, but I'm sure you have family members that do, right? Put your stuff down, listen up. This is what we need to talk about. We can celebrate and do all of that, but let's talk for 15 minutes about where to get some of the best assets in the world. If they say, I ain't trying to hear that, shoot, I'm not telling you guys what to do. I'm just telling you what I would do. And I've done this. I've packed my stuff up and I've dipped because you ain't trying to hear what I got to say, right? You ain't trying to hear what I got to say, but what I got to say is right. And then they come back around, my auntie, Lawrence, that Bitcoin you was talking about, it hit 40K. Little nephew, that Bitcoin you was telling us to get at 5,000, 10,000, it hit 40K, nephew. Question is, I know you got a 401k. I know you got some cheddar, auntie. I'm saying this in my head. Why the hell you didn't listen? And then now you think it's a joke. Stuff ain't funny. Ain't no joke. I never knew people laughed about missing out on making money. Because I vividly remember Shopify robbing me. I have contracts for $5,000 that I sold that turned into 50 grand. And I still think about it to this day. You know what I'm saying? But out of love. It's just certain, that's early in the game. It's just certain things you learn with time. Right. But I never knew that I would be making a joke of saying and making it seem like it didn't matter. Oh, hell no, it mattered. Of course it mattered. So that's the piece of what I want to say is just like, yo, we a lot of times be playing the wrong game. We know who such and such is dating, who such and such is what things they got going on. We know what contracts players got, but we don't even know the DNA of our tickers. Oh yeah, man. Yeah, that boy Metcalf, he got a 4-year 140. But Metcalf just got voided 45 million. You know that? But I ask you the outstanding shares, and you like, outstanding shares what? What is that? And DK lost 45, and you counting DK pockets. Well, DK still got 100. We just gonna call it what it is. So why don't you focus on the DNA? If you're gonna know all of these things, who's making the most money in the NBA, NFL, or if ladies, you know the price tag on all these different merchandises and you know the value, but I tell you, let's open up the DNA. And you say, nah, L, I ain't trying to do it. Like, what? Where I find that at? But if I say, yo, pull up the perks and the comps on this item, you know how to do it quick. And your card be flying out your wallet. Right? So these are the conversations that we need to have. No more than 15, 30 minutes, because we ain't trying to hog up the day. But if we don't, when we gather as family and we don't have these proper conversations, right? And we just ignore the obvious, man, things so expensive right now. Then you bring up Jerome Powell. I ain't trying to hear that. That don't make sense. You ain't trying to hear about Jerome Powell? And the Federal Reserve is the reason why your dollars are being depreciated? We playing a wrong game. Man, that sound lame. That sound good. That sound weird. Or we just chop it up to say, oh, well, people don't understand it, so they don't want to talk about it. But then when your money is being bleeded dry, you want to talk about that though. Hey man, my money low, my money dry right now, but now you want to talk about it. Don't make no sense. We playing a wrong game. And so I want us to, especially for all of us here, that we've broken out of the matrix. We've broken out of the foolishness, the 100 people that's on this Zoom right now. So I really want us to encourage our other brothers and sisters and tell them and say, "Oh, let me drop a little bit of knowledge and game on you." Right? Because now we're going to see the continual rise of the semiconductors. Right? Will there be pullbacks? Yes. But I think pullbacks will be far and few in between. Pullbacks will be quick, 20, 30% drops on these equities, but they will be quick. You also have Tesla, which is now the most, getting up here as far as one of the most wanted assets right now and has the chance to become one of the more valuable assets next year. Won't be most because they got a long way to go to do that. But I think the path and the question of if Tesla is going to go to 1,000 is pretty clear. The way it goes is it's going to go as if Elon Musk keeps his mouth shut and stays focused. Elon doesn't even really need to deliver on everything. He just needs to pretend and show, not even pretend, but show the steps and the processes. That's what people want to see. Like people would take Tesla easily to $1,000 just off the potential and a focused Elon because people don't want to miss it. Tesla is a 300 P to E business. Now, I'm not telling people to go out there and mortgage their futures, but I did tell people this, right? And for those that are on the Zoom, how many times did I tell people specifically Tesla would make it back to these levels with a motivated Elon? And this is why you have to be careful where you're getting your information from and what you're listening to and subscribing to. Because in 2026, this is about knowing and not guessing. I need everyone to put that in the chat right now. Knowing and not guessing. Knowing and not guessing. A lot of people play the guessing game. Well, L, I'm just going to guess that this happens. Hell no. What are you talking about? I want to see that in the chats right now. Knowing and not guessing. And if you're here on the tube, I want you to share this thing as well. Share this thing. We're here. Knowing and not guessing. So you already have made those steps in the right direction because what? You've made the steps in the right direction. It's 8 o'clock and we've been rolling here for about 45 minutes and it's Christmas Eve. I'm gonna get everybody before you guys got to go spend time with your family, your friends, etc. And we want you guys to have a great time today because you truthfully only live one time, and we want to spend it with our loved ones. But what we don't want to happen is we don't want us to now go back to our regular day to day and we didn't have these hard hitting conversations. So that means that because we have 300 people in totality almost listening, what that means is there should probably be around 600 to 900 conversations because I know there's some people in the background. We can create almost 1,000 conversations. And then of that, there will be obviously less action, but it's important to create those things because now that allows us to create a chain reaction. We're changing the way that we're thinking about spending our money, and we're changing the way that we are putting our money into this market. So with Tesla, Tesla has a high probability of being able to go ahead and go to 1,000, not because of the requisite earnings, because they're lacking those, but because Elon is motivated. Why? Because he wants to become a trillionaire. What is one of his paths? Not the only, because we know he has many of ships. But for him, that's getting Tesla up to $1,000 a share. Now, let's talk about the statistics in the DNA. How many outstanding shares does Tesla have? They have 3.3 billion. So is Tesla a low floater? No. Did they used to be a low floater? Yes. But Tesla's done a few splits. And so look for Tesla to continue to soar. I don't see them splitting again, just my opinion, unless they go above $1,000. There would really be no reason to. Once they got above 1,000, similar to Netflix and other companies we see, Nvidia, they likely will do a split. What kind of split? Maybe a 5-to-1. That's just my initial thoughts. It could be wrong on that. So I definitely just want to tell people it is super, 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 super duper important. Super, super duper important to understand the DNA of these investments. So before you put your money into something, you want to know, one, where you're buying, and two, you want to have a rationale to why you're buying. Never put your money into a stock. We're not saying that you can't even buy penny stocks, but just understand what you're putting your money into. So you don't say, well, why did this penny stock go from $2 to $3 to 20, but then back to 5? Because it's a penny stock. It hasn't proven itself. So at least you know exactly what's going on and happening. All right. So it's 8:05 here, 8:05 live, ladies and gentlemen. We're up, we're active early, and we're talking that talk this morning. I want to see some feedback from you guys in the chat now. I seen knowing, not guessing. Thank you for that. Knowing, not guessing. That's the theme. I would like to get some feedback, though. I spent the better part of almost an hour talking straight. Let me get some feedback from you guys. Great people in the building. Let me get some feedback. Feedback, feedback, feedback. Let me get some feedback from you guys. Right? Feedback. How you guys feeling this morning about this conversation? And any thoughts that you want to weigh in? I would love to hear from you. Welcome into all of our people that's just joining us. Give us that feedback. This is how, let's hear it. I'm seriously going to have this conversation with my family. 15-minute or more conversation about investing. Yep. 15 minutes. If we can't talk 15 minutes about our bags, listen, we got some problems. This is what it is. We're going to spend the day together, but we can't talk for 15 minutes, 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes about our bags. We playing the wrong game. Someone said, I like the UPS analysis. Yes, let's talk about it, right? Let's pull up UPS and do a little dive again on it, right? Because UPS, how many people do they actually employ? Let's find that out. We come here down here to our company profile, excuse me. You can find out company profile. How many people are they actively employing? So let's take a look. Full-time employees, 490,000, right? So we're anticipating that this number honestly can drop anywhere between 100 to 150,000 over, not saying next year, but over the next 4 or 5 years, I expect that number to be there. And why? Because of the example that I just gave. UPS is looking to what? As a company, you have to be strategic. So if payrolls are going up, you're going to look to cut payrolls, right? And you notice that the trend since February 2022, UPS is on the decline. Where is price at now? Once it got to 80, $90, price is really within demand. So if someone asks me, L, is this a ticker UPS that you should be buying? The answer to that is yes. Now, what are my expectations, right? Because I always think that's important. Is UPS really a growth company? No, they are more of a value name. So you're not going to expect UPS to just fly to 200. You don't have those expectations. But you look at UPS as a good supporting piece, and it's about where you buy. That's important. Where you buy, similar to when you look at this chart, you're similar just like with NVO. When I kept talking about NVO, it's about where you buy. You make your money on the buy. I got a lot of people reach out to me. Yo, L, you seen the news with NVO? I'm like, of course. I'm tracking the company. I've tracked the company for longer than 6 months, of course. Tracked the company for 5 years. But I've highlighted in the past 6 months, heavy. Listen, guys, we're getting down to levels where we want to acquire the company. That's just the facts. We want to acquire this company. And so why? Because when people are beating down something, Lululemon, Roku, which Roku is still a work in progress, NVO, UPS, depending on the situation, it's not just always about price. Price is one part of it. But what also is what's the situation and setup? Where's the company at right now from a sentiment perspective? Where's the company at from a price to earnings perspective? What moves is the company trying to make to get them out of the hole? We know there's a hole, but are they actually making a way to get out of it? These companies ain't on Wall Street just sitting around, man. We in a hole right now. So, it'll just happen. Now, some companies do that and they're garbage. And that's why they get delisted. That's why there's 20 names on my watch list that got delisted this year. And I said, oh, wow, that got delisted. Matterport got delisted, which Matterport at one point in time was pumped up by a lot of people in the financial literacy space. Matterport's the future. Hey, listen, y'all need to get in Matterport. It's delisted. It's gone. The reason why I make these notes is you got to be mindful of what you're buying. Rivian, day one, you have people saying, yo, you need to get in Rivian. What? So you become somebody's exit liquidity so they can sit here and pap you up? That's exactly what happens. Exit liquidity. And that's what a lot of our people that's gotten into the markets have become, somebody else's exit liquidity because of not knowing where you're buying. So when I say, yo, pump the brakes, you probably don't want to put your bread there. Even Tesla right now. Am I telling anybody to buy Tesla? No. Palantir. Am I telling anybody to buy PLTR? Hell no. You ain't buying Palantir. This is a juggernaut. Am I saying Palantir can't go up? No, because you can trade it, but buying it equity-wise, you'd be foolish to do so. Foolish. Why? Because Palantir is up pretty much from $20 to where it is now. That's the price perspective. But let's talk business. 43-cent EPS with a 451 earnings. This is not really something that you should be buying at this point in time. You got a $500 billion in market cap, basically. But even if you were, you must know where you're buying. So if someone was to buy Palantir today, this is why I think it is very important to know where. So now what's going to happen is someone buys Palantir today. And let's say Palantir drops to 120. They're going to reach out to me and say, yo, L, I bought Palantir at 200 and I think I bought it too high. I'm just telling you, these are the things that I get called about. And I say to myself, what made you only think it? Oh, well, I was listening to, such and such live and I just heard them talking about it. So I was just like, shoot, it looked good. What the hell? So fellas and ladies, you guys can relate both ways. Do you spend money on everything that looks good? No, that'll get you in trouble. Particularly, I'm talking to my fellas right now and ladies as well, too. But fellas, you guys know, you spend money on everything that look good, that ain't going to bring you nothing in return. You're going to be out of your pocket, out of your pocket. Just because something sounds good and look good, don't mean you need to do it. And vice versa, ladies, same way. You don't be going in your pocket at all because you guys queens, we take care of you. You know, you guys do your stuff for us. But a brother trying to get into your pocket and he ain't done nothing for you, run respectfully. You know what I'm saying? Run. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just important to understand this, right? Palantir. Palantir. This is not the time to be buying PLTR. It's just not. Is this the time to buy Tesla? No. The time to buy Tesla was when you was mad at him because he was partnering with Trump. These are just the facts. That was the time. When you was mad at him, that was the time. Don't come back now and say you want to buy it because you're going to overpay. And then if it pulls back, you're going to say, that damn Elon Musk, he lost me my money. Damn Elon, running his mouth. Because he may pull a Houdini and switcheroo on you. So we're having these conversations now in 2025 before 2026 rolls around. Palantir and Tesla, we're not saying both of these stocks are going to drop. What we're saying is where they're at. And so Tesla had better have some numbers, as well as Palantir. These are two juggernauts that belong where? What ETF they belong to? They belong to the ARK. And Tesla's number one, big dog, in this ARK ETF. So it's important to know what? If Tesla's number one here, right now, 12%, Roku, 5.62%, CRISPR, 5.57%, Coinbase, 5.27%. So like I said here before, very, 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 very important that you guys make sure, once again, make sure 100% that you guys are taking this information and using it to your benefit. ETF.com is a free resource. So in 2026, don't not be having your ETFs actually pulled up and knowing where it belongs. That's the importance, right? And so now when I am looking here, right, at this specific ticker, which means particular ETF, Tesla is here at 12%. Roku, which we've talked about Roku. Roku could have a breakout year next year, roughly in between 150 to 175. Could be on a breakout because it is coming out of this accumulation phase. It reminds me a lot of Alibaba from a price perspective and how they're moving. Alibaba had a good year this year. And let me show you, what do I mean? Same thing, right? It was accumulating and then it ended up breaking out. So Alibaba had a solid year. I like the year that Alibaba actually put up and produced. And I think Roku, not saying these companies in the same category, I'm talking about from a chart perspective, it reminds me a lot of Alibaba. So be on the lookout for this name to break out next year, right? And also as well, be on the lookout for Alibaba. I think Alibaba can have a great year again, but I don't know if it does. I don't know if that happens without a pullback first. Those are my thoughts. I do think Alibaba may pull back to 120, 100 first before any run. But I would like to see the resurgence of Roku next year, at least from a price perspective. Now, Roku is a heavily shorted ticker, so they could get pushed up even via short covering. So I do want you to know that, short covering. And we'll talk about this in our fundamentals class on Monday. For my people that's here listening on YouTube, you found your home, guys. I'm going to tell you guys this right now. We got countless of people you can see here on the Zoom. I'm sure we had about 200 plus people that came through. We got classes all lined up. Show me somebody who teaches as much as I do. Let's have that debate. Show me somebody that teach more than me. Just show me. Show me somebody that's going to teach more than me. I'm just going to say it right now. No one can out-teach me. And this is just the facts. They can't. Because not only I'm living, eating, and breathing this market nonstop, I might not have the most followers because my followers ain't bought. These are real. I might not have the most subscribers because they're real subscribers. But one thing I'm going to tell you is my Rolodex in my phone, I got the most people, community members, phone numbers in my phone. I'm tapped into the culture, blah, 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 for real. So front line, ready to get to work. That's my motto and my mentality. And so for people that stepped into these lines, don't get caught off by fluff and listen to things with no charts. No charts, just talking about theory. This is the place to be in the house that we built. Notice I didn't say I, the house that we built. So this is a we thing around here. Notice I didn't say I. Oh, I built it. I built it. No, we built. This is the house that we built. I just happen to be using my talents and my gifts that the Lord himself gave me because he could take it all away from me. And that's one thing I don't want to happen. If there's a couple fears in my life, I fear God. That's what I fear. I don't fear nothing here else. I fear God. That's just the facts. And so if I'm not obedient to what I need to be doing, this stuff can get wiped away. And so I'm being obedient every day because I'm providing service. I'm front line. 2 years ago, I took a month off in December. I'll never take a December off again. I took a month off and people said I didn't teach. Oh, Lawrence didn't teach. So guess what? Damn it. All December I taught and I prepped. I needed to take that month off just because of some personal things I was going through. But this has motivated me 2 years later, saying because I definitely wanted to make sure, right, it is super, 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 super duper important that I needed to make sure that you guys would definitely make sure. All right. So I need you guys to know, right? And hold on one second. So I do think it is super, super duper important that you guys know the level of seriousness and you guys just know it. You know what I'm saying? So this is the time to not, this is the time I want to stress to everyone. Don't go into 2026 still lollygagging. This is the time to make sure you're even more serious than what you got before because it's only going to get tighter. But the people that's playing around, fronting, you know what I'm saying? You go into other people's lives and you going here, you sampling there, you just sticking around. You ain't really got nowhere because you haven't really bought in. And we're not just talking about buying into my program. You haven't even bought in to you being serious about this yourself. You've been playing around with it, but then you get play around results. Yo, L, I'm looking to do this, but you getting play around results. So I think once again, that's super, super duper important for me to discuss with you guys. You are playing around, you're getting play around results. Because why? You're not serious. So because you are not serious, you're getting play around results. You say, well, L, I want to learn this. I want to learn that from you. You got a whole YouTube catalog. For my people that's inside the community, you got an abundance of everything. That's all organized and set up there for you. Beginner videos, scroll up to the top, work your way down in that order. But don't disappear on us and then come back 3 months later and say, what did I miss? When you already know what you missed and you can actually go back and replay what you missed. Just the facts. You can go back and replay what you are missing. And so it's 8:20 here now. And we're fired up as always. Have those conversations this Christmas. Very, very, very important. Have those conversations this Christmas. Palantir, we discussed that. We talked about the ARC. We got the markets that are getting ready to open up. The futures are likely to be flat. Of course, we have no economic data coming out really here outside of the jobless claims that come out in 10 minutes. None for Friday. Next week will be light as well. So we'll kick, New Year off, unemployment data, and that'll be our next major data week. Also, I want to talk about the federalreserve.gov because we do have our, right? Very, very important that you do take a look. So Fed, I want you guys to come to calendar and I want you guys to look at FOMC calendar. So you do have, this is what you had here in 2025, but future year, here we go. So future year meetings, January, March, April. So there is no May meeting this time. Pay attention there. Usually we do meet in May, but it'd be March and April back to back. June, July, September, October, and December. So a little bit of a switch up there in 2026. Usually we're in April. Usually we're in May. We're in April this time. And then we also have this January 27th to the 28th. So these are your FOMC calendar dates, meeting dates. So do take this information down if you haven't already. You can screenshot that. So I do think this is what I said. Very, very, very important. That's your Federal Reserve, FOMC. We will be talking about FOMC next week at 6 p.m. EST, especially for our fundamentals, because we know that in 2026, and just like any other year, the Fed plays their role. And so you do have a change of guard that is happening next year. JP's gone. So just wanted to make sure that I could highlight this for you guys here today. So for everyone that's listening here right now, I want to wish you guys a very happy holidays. I want you guys, for those that are here, I want you to take a second. If there's an offer out there that you guys need to pull the trigger on, pull it now. At least get your deposit in. We got a couple slots left for in-person mentorship, 4 days. It's going to be $2,500 in 2026. It's $1,500 right now, but all you have to pay is a deposit of $750. That locks you in for 4 core live days with me here in Atlanta, where I get to work one-on-one with you individually and be able to help and assist you get into that next level. So that's completely hands-on, 4 live days, helping and assisting you get into that next level, right? So you've had some people that locked in, $750 locks your slot in today. If you need to join the community and you're on the outside looking in, this is your chance, because each package is going to full price. It's just what it is. We're providing an abundance of value. I teach at least 5 to 6 days a week on an unscheduled time, 3 days a week on a scheduled time. So even when I say, hey, we good, if there's something that's happening, I'm going to come in and teach, because it's nothing for me to come do this for about an hour, hour and a half, and then go on with my day. Because I value you guys' time and mine, that I'm not going to be here to waste it. When have I ever came on a Zoom to just waste time? We just twiddling thumbs. Yes, there may be quiet points if we're live trading, because live trading ain't going to be me running my mouth all day. It's me watching the charts and analyzing and seeing, you get what I'm saying? So what I want you guys to pay attention to is the reality, discipline, focus, consistency. Even when motivation is lacking, you must be consistent, because you are going to lose some motivation. It's just the reality. But for my people that says, hey, I'm looking for that level up, send me your name, email, number, and let me know which one you want to take advantage of. Because we got those slots. I'll say this. Some people went and paid and added an extra zero. And these are just the facts. $1,500 to sit down with me for 4 days, but you paid $15,000 to somebody and you didn't even meet with them. You didn't even have a phone number. They got you out of $15,000 and you didn't even have a phone number. But $1,500, you got my contact, and we're going to get to work, and you're going to come in person and sit down with me for 4 days. I mean, I can't sell it better than that. Can't sell it better than that. So once again, execution loves speed, and you'll have the entire 2026 to take advantage. So if you know, hey, I might not be able to do it the first 3 months, cool. We'll get you in April. We'll get you in May. We'll, whatever the case may be, we'll get you in. We'll figure it out. But get yourself locked in. Don't wait and then come back and say, yo, that's still available, because it's not going to be. It'll be $2,500. So it'll be $1,250 down. And that's just the reality, because that's really just what the cost is. $1,500 for that time. Once again, lawyers get paid $500 an hour. $500 an hour. Billable service. $500 an hour. Just what it is. And I'm on their level, because, yeah, they're going to get you out of trouble. But I'm also can get you out of trouble as well, too, if you listen to what I'm saying in the long run. So we on the same page. We on the same exact page. So I appreciate y'all for being here this morning. Once again, the Federal Reserve interest rate decision dates. Make sure you have those things down. For all my people that are here tapped in, or for my future people that's tapping in, comes here to the schedule tab. And it's right here underneath welcome. Schedule. Boom. Get yourself acclimated. Pay attention. So I see everyone Sunday on Zoom. You guys enjoy your time off. Catch up on these recordings. We'll drop these recordings in the chat. Fundamental analysis training. Be there 6 p.m. Monday. If you got questions on DNA, and we're going to go over some other things. DNA. Live trading Monday and Tuesday. So just important. Those are my important updates. And anything else, I'll keep you guys updated with. So market to open up. It closes at 1 p.m. So I appreciate you guys. I'm signing off. I got some business to handle. So I appreciate you guys. And you guys have a good one. I'll be on the lookout for your messages and I'll be ready to go. So 716-930-6783. Do not send any money to anybody through AU Occupier or some, I don't even know what the hell that is. But if you're paying me, you're going to get an invoice and you're going to pay it, right? That's just what it is. If you're paying me, you're going to get an invoice directly from Square or PayPal and you're going to pay it. And that's just what it is. So other than that, any other ways of people are just, once again, they're out fishing. They know it's holiday time. But here's the thing. Why would you do something when I'm telling you blatantly to come talk to me? This is why I gotta, sometimes we're doing it to ourselves. We are truly sometimes doing it to ourselves because everyone's looking for the quick fix. Instead of following the things I'm telling you, you're looking for the quick fix. Why are you looking for the quick fix? No need to quick fix nothing. No need to quick fix it. So I'm excited for next year. Excited to come visit certain people and come see you guys. So I'm excited to get active, man. Excited to get active for you guys. And this year was an incredible year, but there's more to be done. We scored a couple touchdowns and you excited? Okay. We ain't win no championships like that yet. We won a few, but we need more. We need to make sure it's undeniable when it's all said and done. So maybe you got one or two, but it's got to be undeniable. Ask yourself, and I'll let you guys go after this. Ask yourself where you want to be at by the end of this decade. You don't got to put it in the chat. You don't got to put it in the chat at all. But I want you to think on that. I want you to write. I'm sure many people already have it written down. But I want you to think on that and sleep on that tonight. That's my thoughts. I'm going to sign off here. 716-930-6783. Y'all pull up, reach out. Name, email, number to get inside this community, to join these great people here. Other than that, we're shutting this thing down. 2026 stock options playbook and equities playbook will not be free to the public. It's not going to be free. So don't ask me about it, but you can join this community today. So happy holidays to you guys, and I'll speak to everybody soon. Peace.